Hey, welcome back, guys. A lot has changed since we had first seen each other last year. So, for most of you that are just returning, you remember who I am. For those of you who are new, I'm going to jump right into it. My name is Sensei Gaidash. I'm the therapeutic martial arts instructor here. I want to start off by just telling you a few things about me so we can start off with knowing a little bit about each other. I'll probably hear more about you guys as we continue on with class. So, for now, just a little bit about me. I've been doing martial arts for more than 3/4 of my life. This is actually my 6th year teaching here in Akron Elementary. I've been doing martial arts since I was 9. So I'm very big into it. I love learning new things when it comes to martial arts, and I'm very open to new things when it comes to learning. So I'm a big car person. Most of my students know me that, I love working on cars. It's something that I like to do besides doing martial arts. As you get to know me, you'll learn more of my loves and my hates for that. So most of my students can probably tell you what I drive or what my favorite car is. And as the year goes by and we keep talking with each other, we're going to probably learn a little bit about each other. So let's go ahead and jump into the first things first. So I want to talk to you guys about what's changed. The first thing being probably something you're already very aware of, masks. I want to talk to you guys about the right way to use a mask and how to go about that. So a lot of you probably have a mask similar to this. It's blue, it's non-reusable, which means you can only use this once. I'm going to go over all the steps of using this mask, and when we get into the building, we are going to be required to wear this mask. So first off, you want to find the side that has a metal rod in it. This is for your nose, so this is going to be the top of the mask. You'll be able to feel it by just using your fingers to rub at the very center of the mask, and you'll either feel a metal rod or you won't. Once you've found it, what you want to do from this point on, make sure you have the blue side out, is you're going to want to only touch the string parts of the mask. What I'm going to do is I'm going to open this mask up. You can see how it just expanded a little bit. And I'm going to hook it to my ear, and I'm going to go over to my other ear. Once I've done this, this is where I talked about having that metal rod. You just want to find it and use your 2 fingers and just gently push. And what that does is it gives a nice, good feeling to your face. I'm going to pull it down to make it fully touch. And this is it. This is the wearing the mask. So you never want to touch the outside of the mask. These masks are here to filtrate and keep you safe and healthy. So all the yucky stuff sits on the outside. So if you ever have to take one of these off, never actually touch it. Use your fingers to loop behind the ear to pull it off. And you can do that with one hand and still have it sit, and you can see my other ear actually holds it in place. So, and I can easily put this right back on, just like that. So, when we get into the building, obviously right now we're only learning through video, so you won't have to wear one as you watch a video from home, unless that's something you like to do. But when we do get back into the dojo, we are going to be required to wear these. Just like if you were at a store shopping with mom, dad, grandpa, grandma, whoever, if you were going to any kind of public place, this is going to be something we have to wear every day. So, moving on from that part. So, since I'm by myself, and I'm going to be doing some activities with you guys, I'm going to go ahead and take this off. When you're done with these are not reusable. That means you can't put them back on the next day. If it's been like a few minutes and you have it sitting in a nice clean place, that's fine. I would really prefer when you're done with these, you actually take them, you fold them inside out so you don't touch the outsides, and then put them in some kind of plastic or paper bag preferred. And that would be the way you would dispose of these. They're only one time. So let's go ahead and start our day in the dojo. So, go ahead and follow me on over here. I'm coming on over here. So, the first thing before we even are allowed to begin martial arts is we got to know how to enter and leave a dojo. It's very important that when you enter and leave a dojo, we do something called bowing. Bowing is a sign of respect. And it's not just you giving me respect, it's me giving you respect. It's something that I would hope that we both share with each other. My feet are going to be together. I'm going to be facing the room I'm entering or leaving. My hands are going to be at my side. I'm going to face, and I'm going to bow. Come on in the dojo. Let's go ahead and get into that part right now. So, today I'm going to be targeting balancing. Balancing is when your body tries to stay upright to the best of its ability. Or there might be other challenges that I have kind of come in the future of trying to keep level of some nature. So today we're going to be constantly focusing on balancing. I have a few warm-ups and an activity or two that we're going to be using for this. And then we're going to get into some very basic terms that I want you to know for martial arts. So let's go ahead and get started into warm-ups. So the first thing I want you to do, and this is something you should be standing up and doing with me every single day, is just lift your knee. I have my knee about level right now, and I just want to hold it up. My toes are pointed up, and my knee is up, and I'm going to hold for a time. I'm going to be counting in Japanese. If you've never counted in Japanese before, as the time goes by, you'll get better and better at it. For those of you who have done this before, I expect counting at home. So I have my knee up. Ich, ni, san, chi, go, rok, sich, hach, ku, ju. At this point, I'm going to put it down. I'm going to relax that leg, and I'm going to switch over to my other leg. My knee is up. I find my balance, so I give myself a second. Ich, ni, san, chi, go, roku, seiji, hachi, ku, ju. I put my foot down. So the next thing I'm going to do is I've had my knee really high. Now I'm only going to be bringing my toes up. So my toe is pointed right towards where I want to be looking, and I want to do circular motions. I'm going to do this for about 5 seconds in one direction. So this time I'm going to my right. Ich, ni, san, chi, go. Now I'm going to switch to the opposite direction, so I'm going to my left. Ich, ni, san, chi, go. I'm going to be switching, so now we're at the opposite foot. This foot is planted. I find my balance, I'm going to go to my right. Ich, ni, san, chi, go. Now to my left. Ich, ni, san, chi, go. I'll be placing that down. So let's get into something a little bit more complicated. So this is really great for just figuring out how much balance you truly have. Let's get into something a little bit more difficult. So this might be an activity that you need some help with. So if you're still looking for your balance, you're still working on it, you can easily find something like a chair. If you don't have a chair, and you live near a wooded area, or maybe you just have a tree, a stick could be your best friend too. And I'm going to show you the stick part of it if you don't have a chair on the opposite foot. So here's what I'm going to do for this next part. I'm going to take my right hand, my right side of my body, and I'm going to place my right hand here, and I'm going to take my right leg, and I'm going to extend it out while my front hand's forward. If you're having trouble balancing, the chair will definitely help you. I'm going to hold for 10. Ich, ni, san, chi, go, rok, sich, hach, ku, ju. So if you don't have a chair at home, your other option, if somebody has a walking stick at home, maybe there's a really good stick that you just really trust at the home, or maybe you have something really strong and about your height. You could use that just as well. So I'm going to be using my left hand's got a good grip. I want to make sure I'm safe. And I'm going to use my left leg to bring it up, and my right hand is going to be coming forward. So I extend, and I want that foot as high as I can. Ich, ni, san, chi, go, rok, sich, hach, ku, ju. If you get super comfortable doing that activity, you could remove both the chair and the stick. and just see if you can hold that. 10 seconds is the recommended. Let's get into something that requires a little bit more across the body. This is probably one of my favorite warm-ups and one of my favorite activities to do, and they're called cross crawls. So my hands are up, and here's the goal. If this hand on my left-hand side of my body is going to be touching my right knee, so I'm actually coming across my body. So I want to lift my knee and touch. Once I touch, that knee can touch the ground again. So I'm going to do this 10 times. Ich, ni, san, chi, go, rok, sich, hach, ku, ju. Once I've done 10 in the front, let's go to the back. I'm going to show you a sideways view of what that really looks like. Ich, ni, san, chi, go, rok, sich, hach, ku, ju. And for the last part of this, I'm going to be tapping the very bottom of my foot. 10. Ich, ni, san, chi, go, rok, sich, hach, ku, ju. Very good. So, now that we've worked across our bodies, and we had to actually support our weight on one foot, let's make things a little bit more interesting. If you have a cup, maybe you have a small sand bucket, or maybe you have something that's cylinder, round on the bottom, place it right in front of you. And here's what the activity is. So, I want to see if I can lift. I'm going to put my body to the point this foot is lined right up. So if you had to see from the side, it looks something like this. My foot's right in line with it. I'm going to have my hand up, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to remove this foot, and I want to come down, touch the bucket, come back up, give this guy a high five. I'm going to repeat this 5 times, and then switch to my other side. Ready? Ich, ni, san. And if you fail and you stop, don't restart. Just continue right where you left off. Just how I stopped right there. So I'm at 3. Let's go straight to 4. Ich, ni. And that was 2 more, so that would make 5. I should have said she, go, for those of us still learning to count. I'm going to switch to my opposite side. Let's see if I'm any better on one side of my body than the other. Okay, my foot comes up. Ich, ni, san, she, go. And that was 6. Should have said that. Okay, so that's the first part. Let's get into something more challenging. This is going to be the last thing we do today. So, all I want to do is, I want to rock my right foot back and forth. And when I do this, I want my hand to be in the opposite direction. It'll look like I'm doing a weird dance. And then I want to switch. And then I'm going to do it front to back. So what's really important is we want to simulate walking. So if I'm walking, the foot that's behind me, that's the hand that's forward. So when I walk, it would be polar opposites. If you don't know what that means that this hand's behind me, or this foot's behind me, this hand's forward. And that's just how we walk. So the activity would just be and then I would switch. And then I could do it on opposite hand, opposite foot. I have a lot more that goes with that. And as we progress, I have more things to do there. Hey guys, basic stances that we're going to need to be able to perform, we need to cover basic hands maneuvers. So we're going to be talking about blocks and strikes. So let's get right into it. So the first one we should really be working on is our low block. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to need to learn how to make a fist, because if not making the correct fist can actually damage some of our bodies. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to have our hand. It's just right and open. I'm going to roll my pinky, roll my fingers, and I'm going to have all four down, and then I'm going to take this thumb, and I want to press it right to the outside. So now that we have a fist made, we're ready. So we need to learn about chambering. It's the number one thing that's very important for our forms, and it's also very important for our blocks and our strikes. So anytime I'm punching or blocking, I'm also chambering at the same time. So whatever hand's not being used, this gives me an awareness of where it is, and it also makes it ready. So when I need it, I don't have to lift it up and do something. It's here, and I can use it. So first one we're going to cover is our low. My hand's here. From here, I'm trying to get my hand as high as I can. If you can only bring your hand a little bit below your elbow, that's fine. So from here, when I pull this arm down, I'm pulling my other arm up. So try and do this action with me. Bring your hand up and let it drop. And we're just going to let it slide right up. We're going to add another action. I'm going to pull this arm and I want it to go to my ribs. Now I'm going to do both the actions together. This is something that's done on both sides. Let's practice 5 for each side. Each. Ning. San. Chi. Go. So I will now switch to my opposite side. Each. Ning. San. Chi. Go. That's our low block. We'll get into a little bit more details on that later. Let's get into our high block. Our high block is going to be the exact opposite. We're going to be trying to block to make sure our head stays nice and safe. So, what we're looking for, you can get into a good front stance if this makes it easier. I like to bring my hand across my belly, and I have my other hand across, and I always come across my body. Once I have this pattern, we can break it down. Hand comes across belly, I'm here, I come up. Across belly, drop your arm, come up. So this is going to drop across my belly, this comes here, up. Let's do 5 each side. Ready? Each, ning, san, chi, go. We'll do 10, since this is, we're already working on changing sides. So, ready, go. Roku, Seiji, Hachi, Ku, Jo. Okay, it's very important that when I do that, I'm raising my hand just high enough. So, I'm going to step off. This is the first minute. So, this is called a blocker. Blockers are used anytime in the dojo when I'm trying to demonstrate a good way to block. If you're ever in the room when I grab this, do not be afraid of this. It's very squishy. It's foam. And it doesn't hurt. It'll probably make more of a noise than it does even hurt. And what I would use this for is just to see if you're keeping a nice strong fist. So when you hit, if your arm was weak and you weren't putting any effort into it, your arm would be hitting your head. If you're keeping a nice tight fist and you're really blocking your head, you have nothing to worry tradition of using the block. Now let's get into our inside and outside blocks. So an inside block comes from inside the body. So I like to think of getting my favorite flavor of ice cream. So I have my spoon right here, and I'm going to scoop my favorite flavor of ice cream. So me personally, I like Superman ice cream. So I would get the biggest scoop I possibly could. And I want to get very fast about getting my scoop of ice cream because everybody loves my favorite ice cream. So I don't like to share it. So I try and be quick with my scoops. We're going to do 10. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. Now that we have our inside block, we have our low block and high block. I hear it. Is that the phone? It's for me. It's for you. That's our outside block. So whenever you're thinking about doing an outside block, think of answering the phone. Up, it's for mom. It's for you. So you're giving the phone to somebody. So I bring my hand up to my ear. Up, it's for you. And then I would change. All right, let's give that a try. 10 outside blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. So now that we have our basics, let's try and use that in a pattern form. We're going to be stepping into our very first Kwangbu Kihon Kata. So, before we even begin to touch that, let's learn our directions. So, from beginning, I'm going to be turning to my left. My hands are on my hips. I'm not doing any actions right now. I'm going to turn to my right. I'm going to face forward. I'm going to look to the back. I'm going to look forward. Let's start with a hand technique, but we're only going to go left and right. Let's do some low blocks in a front stance. So, that would look like this. I'd be in my ready stance, and I would go to my first direction. Each knee. Now, let's try and go 3 times, 3 directions. So that would look like each knee, stop. Let's add a 4th direction. So this time I'm going to go 4 times. I'm in yoink. That's our ready stance. Each knee, stop. Hey! Let's add the last part. So that way, when we end, we begin right where we end. So what that's going to look like is each knee, san, chi, hey. And I might be a little bit left if I'm working on things. That's okay. In fact, as you get more experience, you'll find that turning becomes easier and easier. And we'll cover a day of turning here soon. So, let's add one more thing. Now that we have our low blocks, let's add a punch. As soon as we go low block, punch. So we're going to go all 4 sides. So it would look like this. From our beginning. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. So now we can add one more part of this. We're going to step a little bit out of what we've already learned into something new. We're going to add a low block, punch, kick to our Kwangbu Kihon Kata. So, our hands are here. We're going to low block, punch, and put it right back down. And then I change. 1, 2, 2, 3. Okay, so now that we have our sides and we have our blocks, let's start talking about making it all come together. So, without counting, I'll still count in Japanese, but I won't say 1, 2, 3. Instead it will be ichi, ni, san, and I'll change my directions. So let's do, without stopping, a little bit faster. So, from here, we begin. Ichi, ni, san. Ichi, ni, san. To the front. Ichi, ni, san. To the back. Ichi, ni, san. Ichi, ni, san. Yo. Okay. So now that we have one full Kwambu Kihon Kata, if we ever want to change that, all we have to remember is our 4 directions. And return to the front if we want to be picky. So, to remember, from a facing forward, left, right, forward, facing to the back, facing to the front. You can add as many things as you want to this. Meaning, if you wanted to use a high block, you can use a high block to do your Kwambu Kihon Kata. Just remember, breathe when you do each side, and make sure you're not holding your breath. If you feel winded again, try and concentrate on breathing. A good way to do this is counting. So for those of you who are very good at counting in Japanese, make sure you're saying ichi, ni, san. For those who are still getting used to it, try using your breathing as a counter. It might go something like this. Breathing is most important. It's the difference between being out of breath and having tons of more energy to go a little bit further. I'm Sensei Gainashi, and that's Kwambu Kihon Katas with blocking. Okay, so the last thing I want to do with you guys before I let you go is I want to do a cool down. And what that looks like is, you guessed it, it's going to be doing with balancing. I'm going to be crossing my feet. Taking this hand, I'm going to do a big circle into my body, and a big circle into my body. And I'm going to pull my hands up. I'm going to take some deep breaths. I'm going to count to 3. Once I take a deep breath to release it. Ichi, ni, san. I'm going to do this one more time. Ichi, ni, san. I'm going to be extending my arms right above my head. I want them as much behind my ears as I can. Ready? Take a deep breath in. Ichi, ni, san. One more. Ichi, ni, san. I bring my hands in. I'm going to extend them forward. Take a deep breath in. Ichi, ni, san. Again. Ichi, ni, san. From here, I can relax my body, and now we're ready for the final part of today. How do we exit, and how do we end class? So, at the end of class, we should all be on our assigned spots. For me, it's right here in the front of the room. I'm going to call ski. Or I might have somebody that's appointed my senpai. If I appoint somebody my senpai, I'll explain that more later. It means that they're allowed to do this. So if I call ski, my feet are together, my hands are at my sides, and I'm going to tell us to point to the shonen. The shonen is at the very front of the room. if I have teachers in the room, I'm going to be turning to them especially. They are very important, and you should be respecting them as well, just like they should be bowing back. Then we turn to our teacher, and after we're done, I would turn to you. So, student Ray, and that's how I'd end class. So, I hope you learned a lot from our first day. There's a lot more videos to come from this, and I'm going to keep adding more and more on. So until then, stay safe, make sure you wear your mask if you're in public, and I can't wait till you guys start answering some of those questions I have for you.